We all had a lot of questions about Josh Heupel's fifth team during the offseason. I tried to put down a number of them for us to cover today. Let's start with questions about Joey Aguilar that we had, Ryan Callahan, the quarterback UCLA did not want. The quarterback who threw 24 interceptions in his previous 2 years, the quarterback who was going to arrive after spring practice and only have 107 days. How is this going to work? I think we have an answer on Joey Aguilar, and it's in the affirmative, is it not?
Yeah, I think he's the least of this team's concerns. I mean, all the things that we were most worried about with this team got back to the quarterback position at the end of the day. If you didn't answer that question well, it was going to be a long season. So I think we've got our answer. He's not a perfect quarterback, but he is a very good quarterback that gives this team a chance to be as explosive on offense as they were in 2022 maybe, or at least close to that.
Do we have anything to add on Aguilar? I mean, that was just a clear-cut, tremendous answered in the positive.
Yeah, I mean, I think we undersold his maturity level and to be able to adapt, be able to connect with his players and make up lost time. So his maturity, leadership, all those things, we probably undervalued that.
Which is interesting because there were people at UCLA who, well, I'll just leave it there. There were people at UCLA who let it be known that he might not have been the film study man that he is proclaimed to be here. And I just wonder, they didn't want him. So I just wonder, was there some truth in that, but getting shown the door so they could get Nico, did that light a fire under him to where he's like, okay, I'm going to buckle down? I don't know. I just know there are people in L.A. who said, well, we made a move for a reason.
Or were they just justifying, we took a 5-star because he was a 5-star?
Mm-hmm. Could be. Yeah. Could be. I can't say who's saying this, and that's the problem, or that would legitimize what I'm telling you. Go ahead.
I think it's a remarkable bandwidth that he had in that 107 days to be able to give so much focus, spending the night at Josh Heupel's house. Josh admitted that to us, doing the film sessions while also building a relationship with his teammates. When we talked at SEC Media Days to so many of his teammates, getting together with Joey, he tackled both sides of these and he hit it with the ground running.
Oh, it's all of the answers, all of the questions about him have been answered in the positive. It's
Absolutely.
Remarkable. And I also, let's throw credit, Heupel and Halsley.
Yes.
I mean, you got thrown a curveball on the Nico thing, and to have handled it, brought the guy in, and this was not their first choice. They went after the kid at TCU. They reached out to the kid. Well, they reached out to a lot of people. And they wind up with this guy, and they make it work. Kudos to him.
Yes.
Kudos to them. Another question. We had a lot of questions about defensive line depth. I don't know that one has been answered in the affirmative. Now, it was challenged early. You lost Hobbs and Moy for a good chunk of it, but how do you feel about the defensive line? Have those questions been answered, or is it still a question mark, or is it those weren't answered in the right way?
Yeah, I don't think they've been answered in the right way, in my opinion, just because last year you had so much depth. I mean, you could roll the third depth guy in, and he's going to do the exact same thing, and then everybody left. And I think that shows you what the transfer portal does, and it tells you that kids aren't going to wait their time. They're going to move on. And so building depth is really difficult. Georgia has a hard time with their offensive line, and who wouldn't want to go over there? So I think at the end of the day, they've not answered they've undersold what they've been able to do.
I think it's different based on the position. I think at end, they have really good depth there at strong side defensive end. At Leo, they have really good depth, and they lead the nation in sacks. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they slide.
A lot of those sacks came on the blitz, though. The first time they pushed the pocket with just the defensive line was Mississippi State.
I think it was a little bit better against Mississippi State, but it's spread out. A lot of different guys have sacks. Yeah. But I think the first move when they are missing guys in a tackle is sliding Don Bailey inside. That tells you that the depth is not where it needs to be when you're adjusting two positions to fill one inside and you just have somebody ready to go in that big rotation that they've had in the past.
D-line? The answer negative or jury's still out?
I think a negative. I don't think there's enough depth there. That you've got some young guys coming along, Isaiah Campbell. But I think what it comes back to, you took Josh Shell in the transfer portal and he didn't give you anything. That was the guy you needed to be a back end of the rotation guy. He hasn't been that.
Let's flip it. There were a lot of questions about the offensive line. Lance Hurd was the only returning starter, and he had a bad year last year. To date, you could say, I'll go to the offensive line, but to date, you could say the questions have been answered in the positive. I think the offensive line has been good. But I'm going to hold out and say the questions mark's still there. The only depth you've really been challenged with was David Sanders so far. And over the course of a season, there's a chance you're going to have two linemen out at the same time, and then I want to see what happens. So they've done better than I expected. But I'm still not ready to say I'm all in on this one because I'm still worried about – I mean, when you had David Sanders come in, Jesse Perry went out, My first thought was, oh gosh, what if his shoulder messes up here? What do you do then? That's why I'm still worried a little bit about the offensive line. Has that been answered in the positive, the negative, or jury's still out?
So I would say in the positive, right? If I look at those guys across, you look at what
Which
you know,
says a lot for this guy to
and
say anything good about the offensive line.
I'm always dogging the offensive line, right? I mean,
Yep.
and I critique down to the minute thing. And so these guys have played so well. I mean, Lance Hurd, totally different individual from last year. I watched him early on. I messaged you. I was like, that dude's playing good. He's playing fast. He's playing with his hands. His moves well. So you really don't know how bad he was hurt last year. I mean, he looked awful last year. I mean, he just couldn't move. Now all of a sudden it's a different
Well,
guy.
it looked like his feet were in concrete blocks last year.
Yeah, and Sam Pendleton, credit to him, man. At first, okay, sliding over, like, that's good. He has handled well. He's had a couple of bad snaps, but he's handled well. You're right, the depth worries me. If he goes down, if something happens to him, that's a huge problem because a backup center coming in, that's a tough role.
Thoughts on the offensive line? Is this, well, starting here, go ahead.
I just want to ask you directly, do you mess with this offensive line like right now? Because there's a lot of people who believe that David Sanders could be in line for a start. To me, if you're on a heater, I don't touch this offensive line. It's great that David looks healthy or he's getting there. There's no way I'm forcing him in with the way these five have played.
So first of all, when I watched Sanders play, even though it was a few sample sizes, instantly it's a difference between him and Jesse Perry. No question about it. Foot-wise, footwork, quickness, totally different. I think you start rotating him in this game, see how he does. If he does, and maybe get a situation where you move Perry down to guard and see how that gels.
You're probably trading Sanders for Umarov.
Yeah,
That's it for me.
And so if you can slide him down and see how Sanders, I think you're only getting a better offensive line product.
The Jesse Perry angle has been awesome, and that's
Yeah,
incredible as a
he's played
redshirt freshman.
very well.
I've been watching Umarov the entire time going, this guy needs his flowers as well, because there were some questions about if Umarov would ever find starting snaps, not Jesse Perry.
Yeah, my question has not been about the performance. They have overshot what I thought they would do, but my questions are still depth related.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
offensive line very good. I don't know what happens beyond the top 6, probably
Yes.
probably top 7 at least. I think anything beyond Satterwhite and whoever the backup tackle is, anything like that, it's a major open question.
And in this era of the transfer portal, I think that's probably the case with every single SEC school out there. If
Very
you get
common.
beyond 6 or 7, you're in trouble. Okay.